Welcome to CityCast Denver. I'm Bree Davies, and here's what Denver's talking about. Hey, good morning. We've been getting so many great voicemails and emails from you all lately, so today we're going to do a mailbag episode. Producer Paul Caroli is going to respond to them with me. Good morning, Paul.
Hey, what's up, Bree?
It's you and me.
Our first post-Easter show.
Yeah, huge for those of us candy lovers. And, you know, I'm just thinking about last night at our Easter dinner, my brother went off on this, he's like, the Christians just took this from the pagans and it really is a fertility holiday. And I was like, shut up, Evan. I was like, the kids are just opening Easter eggs with candy in them. Calm down.
What was the most popular candy of the day?
You know what's really funny? I think my sister-in-law we both talked about it. We went late to the store to buy things, so we got the dregs. But the dregs she got are some of my favorite old-timey favorite candies. They had springtime dots, the flavored Tootsie Rolls. And
I like the flavored Tootsie Rolls.
I do too, but I don't think that those are super popular with children.
No, I don't get the sense that they're popular with anyone. Except
apparently us and my son. He loved them.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's tradition.
Again, it's Mailbag Monday.
We're doing the show now.
Actually, it's Mailbag Tuesday for all of you listening to this show.
Uh-huh.
Our first topic, you know what? I'm just going to read this first letter, Paul. How's that?
Sounds great.
This is from Fran. Fran says, "Hi, Paul and Bree. Love the show. From the Democrats I've talked to at the Capitol, I don't think they want to shorten Tina Peters' sentence. I think they're just pointing out that her sentence is already going to be a lot shorter because of the way our system works. In Colorado, most inmates are eligible for parole at 50% of their sentence, minus credit for good behavior and time served. Tina Peters was sentenced to 9 years in October 2024. Her current parole date is November 2028. Even if Governor Polis doesn't take any action, Tina Peters will probably serve just 4 years of a 9-year sentence. There's some anger amongst Democrats, but there's even more confusion. Why is commutation even being talked about when she's only going to serve 4 years anyway?" Interesting. Paul, do you want to let's contextualize this a little bit?
Yes, we should probably explain what this is about.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's about disgraced Mesa County clerk Tina Peters, who got in trouble with the law for tampering with some elections devices that were under her purview as Mesa County clerk. People probably know her now as just sort of in general a big election denier type person. She fought this case against her for years, and then that has now become something of a cause célèbre for conservatives, especially President Trump, who wants her released. He tried to pardon her as the president, but that doesn't have any impact on state law.
Yes.
So the most recent turn has been that the Colorado Court of Appeals tossed out her sentence, which was like a 9-year sentence, and they called for her to be resentenced, but for the sentence to exclude any consideration of her perspective on the 2020 election, basically, the election denial aspect. Because the ruling in the appeals court was about whether or not she did the actual crime she was accused of, not her attitude towards it and why she did it. And the appeals court was like, the person who did the sentencing unfairly considered her opinions about the election denial, and that actually potentially infringes on her free speech. She can have whatever opinion she wants. That should be different from how she is considered under the law for these particular crimes.
Okay.
Yes. I did some actual reading about this since we talked about it on 1 hour after the news broke on Thursday. So yeah, I think I'm a little bit better up on it now.
Yeah. No, that was interesting. And Fran's comment was interesting too. Just a little bit more of the details, which we just didn't have a lot of when that news broke.
Yeah, I think also specifically Fran was responding to I repeated it now 2 times. This wild speculation that the Democrats, all 66 Democrats in the state legislature signed onto this letter a few weeks ago to Polis, basically pushing back against him suggesting that he might offer clemency to Tina Peters. This has been very unpopular. It seemed people are like, is he just doing whatever Trump wants.
Yeah.
We don't.
Well, and the thing was, he didn't need to say anything about it, which I found interesting, was he made that statement on Twitter that was very long that alluded to Sonia Jacques Lewis's situation. Like it was just like he was putting himself out there with it.
Yeah, I mean, he has his own perspective. The
Sure.
fact is, what's interesting for us as observers is that his perspective is different than all 66, the Democrats, his party in the state legislature.
Yeah.
But to get back to Fran, what Fran was saying was, hey, Paul, you've been speculating that these Democrats might not be totally aligned on this, that perhaps some of them are like more in line with Polis's thinking that she should get out earlier. Because I was reading between the lines of the letter that they sent. And so Fran is suggesting, and I think rightfully, because I did check in with some Democrat lawmakers myself, and I did get the sense that there was not some internal debate where they couldn't come to an agreement about how many years the Democrats, the caucus, thought she should serve or should get to serve, or like who thought what about the legal process. The letter was mostly, from what I've heard, just saying, hey, Governor Polis, why are you talking about this? Why are you getting in the way? Let's just let this judicial process play out.
Yeah.
That seemed to be the thrust of the message.
Okay.
So noted. Appreciate the thought, Fran.
Yeah, I do too. That was
thanks
a
for
really
listening.
interesting comment. Yeah.
I love Fran. Fran's great to talk to about all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to blow up their spot, but
Oh, I was like, Fran?
really appreciate writing in. Yeah, Fran's great.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Fran, for listening and for reaching out to us. We do love to hear from our listeners. It's how we make this show better.
What do you think about Tina Peters? You think he's going to give her clemency, let her out?
I don't know. Like I said before, I find this a very weird thing to be weighing in on when so many folks are already in this system that we're not talking about, and she's high profile, and there's reasons because Trump is, this is a marquee thing for Trump. So I just, it's strange to me that we're talking about it, or that our governor is talking about it when this is an issue that comes up every year with who gets clemency and whatnot. So, yeah. I don't know if I feel.
Well, don't you? I mean, it's about a particular. It's kind of a different situation.
Well,
it's a very political.
It is very political, but like it's a huge system that incarcerates a lot of people, and it just I don't know. I find it's hard because there's so many cases that are probably have intricacies that we don't know about that are I don't know. It feels like a very specific look at something for a reason, and I understand it's political. She's a Trump. And there's this. Yeah, there's a balance. But let's talk more about Polis, because last week was the Rockies opening game.
Friday afternoon, a beautiful Friday afternoon. I was so jealous I wasn't there. I was dying. It was a gorgeous day. I love downtown on days like that.
I love going to see my team lose just so abysmally, which again, no problem with attendance records. But the reason we're talking about Polis and the game is because of who he snapped a photo with and shared on social media. Paul, who did Polis take a picture with?
You go ahead. You said the scene for us.
Our homegirl, Lauren Boebert. Okay, I didn't think about this until I looked at it again, like right before we talked about this. Did they go together?
Well, this was my question.
Okay.
I was like, who invited who?
Yeah.
Because I could see from either perspective. Because like from Boebert's perspective, she's full on MAGA, but has been breaking with Trump in a couple of specific ways. She opposed the Iran war. She also called for the Epstein list to be revealed, though she has since backed off of that. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, she might have been. You could imagine her wanting to reach out to the governor to maybe make a case for Tina Peters to get clemency, so she could bring back a win to Trump. I could see that being the way.
There's no way they weren't talking about that at the game. And I would die to know who was sitting behind them or in front of them and heard what they were actually talking about.
Well, they blurred those people out of the photo conspicuously, which was funny. But yeah, I mean, we know that they talked about, I think that we know they talked about Tina Peters because when Boebert tweeted the photo, she said "Free Tina" in her post.
Oh, I didn't see that. I only saw Polis's.
Polis put it up, and then he started getting roasted by all the Democrats for whom Lauren Boebert is just public enemy number one.
Yes.
So he just got roasted mercilessly, which reminded me that I did at one point predict that Governor Polis might not be a Democrat by the end of this year.
I mean,
and after all 66 Democratic lawmakers rebuking him over Tina Peters and then him going to the Rockies game with Lauren Boebert, that's not looking so far off.
No. And also, yeah, and he has not made any moves or announcement about what his plans are post being the governor. And I think that'll be a very interesting reveal. It just gets
Mm-hmm.
more interesting by the day when he posts things like this.
The other thing Boebert said, though, that is notable is that she, in a response to somebody about the photo, she said, "Why wouldn't I go say hi to somebody who is at the same event as me?" So she seemed to be implying
that they
because she was
weren't.
getting some criticism as well from people on the right who are like, "Why are you going to hang out with crazy lefty Jared Polis?" But so she was like, "No, we just happened to be there." So it sounds like they didn't attend together, and in fact, they really just happened to see each other and maybe chatted about Tina Peters or I don't know the baseball. Maybe that seems unlikely to be honest.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know.
also I find it so funny in this day and age that because we may be on opposite sides of the political spectrum that we're not also still talking to each other, I don't know. I think about the Tip O'Neill Ronald Reagan friendship or it's not that deep, obviously, but she does have kind of a point. Yeah, maybe I saw somebody who doesn't know the mayor or who doesn't know the governor. They're both elected officials.
I think a lot of people are not familiar with him.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people would feel comfortable going up and saying, "Hi, let's take a selfie."
Really?
I mean, maybe they would. I don't know. They wouldn't know him by name. I mean, these two probably do have a relationship.
I would think so. They're both legislators in Colorado. So I don't know. I also just think it's a choice. It's always a choice what you choose to put on social media and how you frame it. It is harder when you're famous, to be fair. Someone else may have taken that photo of them and put it up, whether they wanted it up there or not. So I also think they're also just creating their own narratives as best they can with what was going on. So I don't know. It doesn't surprise me at all. I don't know. It's politicians. They're talking to each other. But it was an interesting photo, nonetheless.
For sure.
This episode is brought to you by Cozy Earth. Mother's Day is coming up. Maybe you know a mom or a stepmom or a dog mom, or you have a work mom or a mother who you want to celebrate. So why not get them something cozy, like one of Cozy Earth's premium bathrobes? I know what you're thinking. Bathrobes and candles are like standard fare for us mom types. But let me tell you about this robe. It rules. Its pockets are big enough for your hands and a phone, and in my case, maybe a small monster truck that I've picked up off the floor right before stepping on it. It's truly a utility robe. They come in a variety of weights and fabrics: plush, quilted, waffle, or stretch knit. I have the luxe robe, and I've washed it a few times already, and it stayed plush. Paired with my Cozy Earth slippers, which are now my go-to house shoes that I pretty much wear all day, every day, I found 2 more Cozy Earth things that I can't stop talking about. Let this Mother's Day be a reminder that moms deserve care too. Discover how Cozy Earth turns everyday routines into moments of softness and ease. Head to CozyEarth.com and use our code CozyDenver for an exclusive 20% off. And if you see a post-purchase survey, be sure to mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here on CityCast Denver. Okay, let's move on to, we have a voicemail from a friend of the show, JD Lopez.
Okay.
Are we going to play it?
I think so, if I can.
Hello, this is JD Lopez, from Lakewood. I was calling in reference to Friday's show where Paul, incorrectly assigned a quote from, 1994 Kevin Smith film Clerks. He incorrectly stated that, the line, "I'm not even supposed to be here today," was assigned to the character of Randall, but in fact it was the main character of Dante's line, not Randall, that says this line many times in the film. And I just wanted to call and correct this egregious mistake, and hopefully Paul will learn from this and we can move forward in peace. Thank you for your time, and I love the show.
Okay, thank you, JD.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is JD doing an impression of your impression of Donald Trump?
I couldn't figure out if he was doing Trump or if he was doing comic book guy from The Simpsons.
Maybe. Yeah, you're right.
Pedantic comic book guy.
Yes, which I heard both of those in there now that you say that.
Yeah.
I also love that you have such a devoted friend that just actively trolls you.
Yes.
So JD, shout out. The dedication you have to putting Paul on blast is admirable.
Really appreciate it.
So Paul, you made a comment in passing that he's referring
Yes.
to that upset the Kevin Smith community, clearly.
Yes. I misquoted the movie Clerks, which is a great movie.
It is a fantastic movie.
And of course, he's right. Dante, the character Dante, played by Brian O'Halloran, says he's the one who's not supposed to be there today. And Randall, played by Jeff Anderson. Both great performances. Iconic 90s film.
Yes, it is. I was like, I feel like we quote, in my friend group, we quote Jay much more than anyone else because he was like just a good 90s kind of pig dude.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, ladies? What's up, sluts? Okay, well, I appreciate that. I'm actually just going to revisit Clerks because I haven't seen it in so long, and I do want to.
It's great.
I
kind of want to watch the sequels. There's 3 of them, I think.
Is there?
Well, yeah, 3 total.
I'm not a huge Kevin Smith
2
guy,
sequels.
but okay. Okay. This is a text we got. Hey, CCD team. Just wanted to share that our local Denver drag queen, Nene Coco, is headed to the finale of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 18. She's a Denver queen, and it's not often we get a local queen on the main stage, let alone the finale. Worth a shout out and possibly looking into local watch parties to share on the Potter newsletter. Happy Easter. I will say we've had 3 other queens, and 2 of them were winners in the finale.
I think, it was Evie Oddly was a winner, and then was
Willow
Pill a winner.
Mm-hmm. And then, I think the first season, Nina Flowers was a contestant. But we got another one, which is awesome. So we found some watch parties. See Film Center's having one. Trax is having one. Hamburger Mary's is having one. So, I mean, pick your vibe and head over to one of those. That's so cool. Thanks for the reminder.
Probably be really fun to watch at one of those places. I mean, a local favorite.
Yeah.
My wife loves these shows. She went through a phase of them. I think she's a little bit out of it now, but she was really into it for a minute, and it was pretty fun.
I mean, season 18, that's a long time to be devoted to something. So
And then there's all the spin-offs. It's like the World of Wonder, the RuPaul Entertainment Universe, multifaceted,
the
sprawling.
Wow universe. Yeah. Okay. Next, we are going to address a comment from Reddit that's actually sort of about our back end, behind the scenes logistics of how this show works.
This is a great comment.
This is a comment from TruePlate6762. I wish every episode gave some reminder intro of who the guest is besides just their name and, quote, regular contributor. It's useful to get a refresher on who the guest is and why listeners should value their commentary, even if it's just a local artist, political aficionado, etc. I listen daily and I can't keep track of every guest's name. Fair. I think about this a lot, too, just because I want to introduce somebody with their credentials, like give them respect as well. But also this is a good point, framing it for our listeners, especially even regulars. It's hard to keep track. So Paul, do you want to explain the contributor system we've stepped into?
I guess because it has kind of been a change for us to adjust to. I think we've gone back and forth in how we've done this because we've changed the format of the show a little bit over the years, which we don't talk about a lot, but tinkering does happen. I'm sure there are loyal listeners that follow these things. And but yeah, I mean, back when we 5 years ago was like, the show was kind of more modeled on the Daily at the New York Times, and we would have like the little short intro of written
it was a long intro.
Sometimes long. Sometimes we thought we needed a lot of context, and some of those were great, but they were a lot of work to do every day. So we've kind of gotten more efficient and tried to be a little bit more thoughtful about how we, where we're concise and where we're long-winded, where we're reading something that we've written and it wants to be really precise, and where we're a little bit more loose. I don't think it matters that much to most people, but in this case, what has happened recently is we're trying this new thing where we have, we've always like hired people, regular contributors, to provide their experience, their expertise, their perspective, people who are like really friendly and great to do this with and like want to participate and do a little research and show up prepared. And so like people like Justine Sandoval, Joshua Emerson, people who we've always thought of as like our regular contributors who are just such a big part of the show.
Yeah.
Recently, like a few weeks ago, we started investing more in that. Basically, We just think that seems to be what listeners want more of because that's what we're seeing in the data. So let's just do more. We have people we love. We've signed people up to more contracts, and now we have this group of like 5, I think, to 8 regular contributors who are on regularly, and they're pretty much on all the time.
To sort of talk about the news of the day. Yeah.
To talk about whatever. So that's how we do it now. And I think we've, in shifting over to that, we've been a little unsure about how people are getting to know all these folks, these new regulars. And we've been maybe a little bit loosey-goosey on how we're introducing them. I think sometimes it's fun to go way over the top introducing somebody. But yeah, you can definitely do too little. Sounds like we've been doing too little. We should change it. I like this.
Yeah, I do too.
Just a couple short words. This is great.
Yeah.
Great note. Appreciate it. Thanks, True Plate.
Yeah, thank you, True Plate. I'd love to just talk to our contributors too and be like, how would you like us to, what do you want people to know? Because some of these folks that we work with are multi-hyphenate, do all kinds of things. So
yeah,
it's a lot. Okay. We have a comment about the Denver Summit FC mascot contest. It's not really a contest. We've just been talking about if they had a mascot, who would it be or what would it be? Paul, did you say you watched a game this weekend?
I did.
Weekend, you told me?
We could start there. Absolutely.
Let's start there.
Well,
what'd you think?
Everyone was so excited about the summit, the big home opener at Empower Field. I heard you talking to CEO David Plotz on Your City Could Be Better over the weekend.
About all 63,000 people that showed up in person, not to mention everybody that watched it.
It was wild. I mean, I've had so bad FOMO. I was like, how do I get on the bandwagon from here? I was looking up tickets. When's the next game? And one thing I did was I put their next game, the TV broadcast on my calendar so I would have a notification to watch it. And I figured out how to watch it.
Yeah, how can you watch it?
It's on a channel called ION. I had to download the Denver Summit FC app.
Of course.
And then the app instructed me that I could find the game on ION. Now, ION, I couldn't find except through Roku. And I happen to have a Roku stick. So I went into Roku and I found ION, the app. And so then I went into ION and then I was able to find it pretty easily from there. And it was a broadcast of just like the NWSL game of the night. Denver Summit FC versus the Seattle Reign. REIGN. Like
nice.
Royalty.
Yep. Okay.
No Kings in Denver. Sounds like Kings in Seattle. That's all I'm saying. Sounds like they
also
them.
Play on words.
The rain.
Lots of rain up there.
That's okay. Somehow I didn't get that before you just said it. I watched this game. I spent like 2 hours watching this game. I never understood the pun.
Do you have any friends or family in Seattle? Because I do, and I'll tell you that aspect of it is very prominent in their lives.
You hear about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is one of those things about Seattle, Anyway, but here's the thing about the game. It wasn't in Seattle. It was 4 hours away in Spokane.
Oh, is that where their stadium
Where they
is?
had access to a stadium temporarily. This stadium, it's a 5,000 capacity stadium, didn't get full. 3,952 recorded attendance for a Saturday night matchup between the Summit and the Seattle Reign. 4 hour. There is another NWSL team in Portland that is a shorter drive from Seattle than where they were playing in Spokane.
Oh.
This is like the home opener at Empower Field. It's just a very different experience than what I think people were getting on that first day. And like, here we're building this big stadium. I was like, the other players in this league, it's just a different kind of status than what I thought, I think, beforehand. Denver really is making a big bet.
I hope that if we continue with this bet and it goes well, that we can do something where you jump through less hoops to get to watch their games.
Well, that too.
Seems
Yeah.
Very annoying.
If there's an audience, there will be money for a contract to put it on TV.
And we know how that can go sometimes.
Absolutely. It's very complicated. But if the Seattle Reign are only pulling in an attendance of 3,900 people, is that a lucrative TV contract that anyone wants to bid on? I don't know. I just got more curious about the business, I think, from watching this.
I will just say I do long for a time, once upon a time, where things locally were broadcast just for locals, like when Lakeside had a race speedway and their races were on TV. Mm-hmm. It would just be nice if we had that access again. But that's when televisions had dials. So that's a different time. But
yeah, I don't know who would do that now. I mean, you just probably see it on social media.
Yeah, that's
You'd
true.
See clips.
Yeah, that's kind of how we watch stuff now. But we're talking about this too because we got a really nice voicemail about some thoughts on a potential mascot. Do you want to play that one, Paul?
Yes. And while I look for it, the game was 0-0, by the way.
Oh,
Another
I didn't even
0-0
ask.
draw. 0 goals.
That's really hard to me as a person that really got into basketball because they score so much. I was like, I like this. I feel like the game's moving.
Yeah. The Denver Summit,
That's
no
tough.
goals. They
That's right.
and the home opener also 0-0. 2-0-0 draws in the first 3 games.
Where
Or
do you
the
get your
3 last
serotonin
games.
hits as a viewer? Jeez.
But yes, let me find what kind of Summit mascot. Here we go.
Hey, my name is Robin Mendelson. I'm calling from Highlands Ranch. I have some ideas about the Summit FC mascot. What about the Summit Sunshine? The Sunshine could be a logo, particularly for the kiddos that grew up with Teletubbies, where there was a cute little baby sunshine. So when you reach the summit, you are looking for the vista, and the sun is always there. Thanks. Bye.
Oh, I have a couple of thoughts on this, but one, Waterworld's going to try to fight you for it because they got the sunshine with the sunglasses guy is already.
They have a guy?
Well, it's like a sunglass. I guess they don't have a guy. It's their logo is like sun with sunglasses on.
And do they have an actual
I don't
costumed person?
I don't think they do, but they might. I'm not as well versed in Waterworld lore, to be honest with you.
Oh, I just Googled it. His name is Blaze, Waterworld's exciting new mascot. This was introduced last year.
Oh, well, he's been on their logo forever, but I didn't know there was an actual mascot. Oh, well,
Yeah,
the more
he's
you
doing
know.
peace sign, and he's wearing sunglasses, red sunglasses. Does that sound right?
I mean, he usually has black sunglasses on, but maybe that's the new guy, you know? Waterworld, that's so funny.
Maybe.
Robin brought up Teletubbies. Paul, are you familiar?
Mm-hmm.
I
With
mean,
the Teletubbies? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I worked at a learning toy store in the early 2000s called the Learning Smith. It was sort of a corporate version of here locally. There would be a store like Playnix or Kazoo and Company, but we sold learning toys. We also sold VHS tapes of PBS shows, and one of them was Teletubbies. And I was a raver at this time, and Teletubbies were huge in the rave scene. So I have
Teletubbies
Lala.
were huge in the rave scene?
Yeah. I have a Lala backpack that I wore to raves. It also has my ex-boyfriend's raver label on it, FXtasy Records. And with my pacifier and my Teletubbies backpack. Uh-huh. Yeah. FXtasy Records. Can't remember what his... Yeah. So I was really into Teletubbies. I even had the Teletubbies CD because I was a raver, not because I had children. So I just wanted to I found that in my basement. I wanted to pull it up and share it with everybody.
Well, if that was the mascot, you'd already have some retro merch.
I have so much Teletubbies stuff.
Why does your backpack smell like that?
Oh my God. It's so tiny. You could barely even put anything in it. Luckily, I mean, well, I wasn't the drug dealer, but maybe somebody with me was. So at any rate, I do like the sun idea. I wish it was a Teletubbies. I wish that we had some ownership over Teletubbies, but I do like the sun idea, although you digging up the Waterworld actual mascot feels a little bit like it's already been done.
It does seem like they have that taken care of. I like it. I mean, yeah, the more poetic take on like the abstract concept for a mascot, I'd enjoy that. We talked about the tire for the tribute to the Gates Rubber Factory. Someone else, Hannah from Westminster, brought up Rapid Man, of course.
Oh, right.
The mascot for the Rapids, who is a wave, very 90s, cool guy, also sunglasses
so
with
90s.
his hair. The hair is the cresting water of a wave. Amazing. Would love to spend more time with Rapid Man. So yeah, something like that would be cool. I liked lightning. That was my pick. Because if you stay too long on the summit after a hike, you get those afternoon storms. So like a lightning bolt as a mascot seemed kind of intriguing to me.
Well, and it's like powerful, you know, like lightning is powerful. It's like there's an active component of it. You can anthropomorphize it in a weird way if you want to go the wave man route. So I like that one too. Also, Hannah said Roxy, the Oxy, an oxygen tank. Cool in theory. Don't know how that would look.
Something about mascots is like they need to have a cheeky attitude, I think. Like, I think that's something that was great about Rocky for a long time.
Yeah.
He was like kind of a troublemaker.
Oh, he messed with people all the time.
Yeah. So like a mascot with some kind of, I don't know, some kind of a puckish energy in the
Little
in the
mischievous.
arena would be.
That would be fun. But
I
that
don't
kind
know.
of comes
There's
down to
experts for this.
that's who's in the suit, though. You know what I mean? That's really the person that's bringing that thing alive. So,
I suppose that's true.
but I love all those ideas. Okay, so last week we talked about prediction markets with David Sirota, and we talked about the gambling component of this, obviously. And a really nice listener, Benton, reached out and just let us know. He said, or they said, I wanted to reach out and say the new national gambling hotline number has changed to 1-800-MY-RESET. It's no longer 1-800-GAMBLER. Politics got involved and New Jersey wanted their number back, blah, blah, blah. So it's 1-800-MY-RESET if you know anybody who's struggling with a gambling addiction. So Benton, thank you for reaching out and clarifying that for us. That's really, that means a lot to me. That's how much our listeners care. And then old friend of the show, Brad Kaplan, wrote in about prediction markets. Paul, do you want to read some of this?
Sure. So Brad writes, great discussion on prediction markets. I only recently became aware of them, and while I think they are fascinating, I also think they are incredibly dangerous. However, in answer to David Sirota's question of what possible value they could actually provide, and with the understanding that the following is devoid of judgment on the ethics of monetizing civic engagement, when online sports gambling was legalized, the NFL alone saw a 20% increase in viewership. I recently heard that it also generated somewhere along the lines of another $1 billion per year in ad revenue because more people were watching. It would stand to reason that because people are betting money on a thing, they pay more attention to that thing. And if they have the ability to also influence that thing, then more resources get poured into that thing. For instance, people bet on a bill to pass, turns out it's failing, but since people have a vested financial interest in it passing, they start calling their representatives in order to try and influence the passing of the bill. More engagement, according to Brad. Again, ethically murky, but engaging nonetheless. Great show. I should have set up a prediction as to how much engagement you'd have gotten from it.
Oh, man. I mean, I can't help but think about the ethical murkiness of this. That's the first thing I thought was like, we deal with human rights issues through legislation. Like, I don't know if the betting on that.
What do you mean?
Well, if we're betting on somebody's civil rights, like you gotta, I don't know. That feels, I understand he's saying
I think
ethically
you're betting
murky.
on the bill to pass.
Or, yeah, right. Depending on what the bill is doing. And so that's scary.
Well, that's the thing about
me.
gamblers, though. For gamblers, it's like it's so divorced from what the actual thing is at a point. At a point, you're like, they say pro gamblers talk about like betting, don't bet the teams, bet the numbers. Because you want to be able to beat the spread. You want to be able to find the opportunities where your impression of a team's ability to win is like more accurate than the line, the money line. That's what gamblers are looking for.
Feels so dystopian to me.
Well, that maybe I understand why.
Well, what did you think about Brad's comment? I think it's an interesting comment.
I thought it was a genius comment. I mean, that's what we were doing with Sirota, was looking at positives and negatives. And right now, and this is a great implication of these networks, like, or of these platforms. Like, if what they are doing is driving engagement, however, you feel about the morality of gambling,
I know,
or legalizing gambling, like that seems like it's a fact. A 20% increase in viewership in the NFL at post-gambling legalization is fascinating.
I bet Roger Goodell loved that.
Of course he would.
It's great.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he also is weighing the risks of the integrity of the game. I think that's the other part of the gambling around sports is, I mean, we see the basketball scandal last year. We see, and so people might not like the game, might not enjoy watching it as much if it's compromised or they think it is.
Yeah. It
the
feels
downside for him.
Yeah. I don't know. This is just so different to me with laws the gambling aspect is also something I talked about being concerning as an addict. But interesting perspective. Yeah, definitely like a thing to watch sort of as we move on. It's like, I feel like, Paul, we recorded that episode and now I hear in the last week, I've seen more articles about it. I started reading the Atlantic cover story by McKay Coppins, who is hilariously a Mormon in that he had to go to his bishop or whatever and ask if he could participate in the gambling because his religion doesn't allow it because the Atlantic was paying for it. But it's an interesting cover story. Yeah, the Atlantic gave him money to Sportsbet over a period of time to report on it, but he had to go to his bishop and say, "Can I do this if the Atlantic is paying for it?" And his bishop, I feel bad. I don't know the clergy. Well, I think he was just trying to be transparent as like, this is the perspective I'm taking as a person in this. And I think it honestly made it a little bit more interesting. But yeah, all I'm saying is everyone's talking about it in a really interesting way. Hi, Fonty.
Yeah, it's certainly of the moment. Yes, the cat is here.
Hi,
the cat was
kitty.
sick this morning.
No, doing cat things. Poor buddy, little guy. Okay. Well, that's it, I think. Again, you can give us a call. You can leave us a voicemail. We love voicemails. You can give us a call or shoot us a text, 720-500-5418, about anything, any past show, anything we've talked about, anything you want us to talk about. Let us know. You can also email us, denver@citycast.fm. We love to hear from you. This was so fun. Thanks, Paul.
See you next time.
That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed this show, why not take a minute to tell the person wearing the Blaze mascot costume at Waterworld about us? Rate the show wherever you get your podcasts, follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe to our morning newsletter at denver.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye-bye. Sorry, I was wrong about that My Clerks quote. It's "What's up, baby? What's up, sluts?" Not "What's up, ladies? What's up, sluts?" Just to clarify.
We don't want to get another voicemail from JD.
I don't want another voicemail from JD saying I misquoted Jay. So